let's talk about some of the real bad things that have impacted you directly as my wife, the mother of our children.
As an animator?
Being with an animator, being with an animator, with this animator for all the adventures and things that we've gone through together. Let's just touch on a couple of the big negatives.
I'd have to say the biggest negative would be that it is contract work.
Yeah.
Not knowing when the next contract's going to come, how far in between they're going to come, and are we going to be able to sustain our family in between that time? That's probably the biggest negative.
Okay.
I would say.
Now, to sort of piggyback on that answer and be honest, be 100% honest, right. Okay? I've never asked you this question before.
Oh, okay.
Okay? But I thought of it today, and it's the only original question I could think of today. So be honest. At what point, or has there ever been a point where you've wanted to tell me, stop?
Stop animating?
Stop pursuing this as your career, because enough is enough.
Never stop. I've never thought stop animating. Mm-hmm. I may have thought stop a project. Stop going about something the way you're going about it. Mm-hmm. Yes. Stop, because we're not the best financially, trying to make those things stretch. It's always been a struggle for us. So there's moments when the contracts are dry and you're pulling things out of the blue to try to make money, and it's really not going to bring anything in enough to make it worth what all the effort you're putting into it. So some of those things, yes, I've wanted to say stop, but never actually stop animating, not working in the field, just in the moment of whatever project you might have on the go to try to bring something in, knowing that the route you're going about it is not going to work for our family, not necessarily, or at the time.
Right. And because you're on the outer edge of that, you have that perspective, whereas I'm in the trenches and I'm seeing right. things totally different.
Like ordering hundreds of prints and going to two Comic-Cons and now we have drawers and drawers of prints that are just sitting there. And that was a lot of money wasted. Stuff like that. I want to say, stop, just draw your own thing. And we had kind of had a conversation.
To be fair, I was going off the advice of people I reached out to, and it didn't fit with. It didn't fit.
Didn't
fit me as an artist or us as a family.
And I think I could see that from the outside view, what you were I want to try this.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, I know
it's not
that it doesn't work. It's not going to work long term for you.
Right.
And that path of that has to, whatever that project was, like the Comic-Cons going to that, I knew that that's not going to work long term for you. And to make that successful, it has to be a long-term venture.
I'm
like you
still,
really have to be year to year to year going to these shows. And I knew that's just not something that you would continue to do.
But I am interested in them, in being part of them. I just need to figure out how to do it in a way that works for me and best showcases my work, my ideas, and that type of thing. And
but some of the part of that specific avenue of showcasing your art and selling your art and whatnot, the reason it has to be a very long-term gig is because just to show up with however many hundreds of prints.
Sure, you got to build that following.
Well, right.
Yeah.
Because we had a conversation the other night about how I view your art versus how you view your art.
Right.
So other people don't view your art the same way either.
Yeah.
So the prints that you have and spent lots of money printing to try to sell might not be the stuff that connects with them.
Yeah. And see,
And that's where it takes a really long time investment, because like you said, you've got to build that following.
Yeah.
And you have to create the art that is interesting to the people you're trying to sell it to.
Yeah.
Not just, I really like this drawing, I want to do this drawing. For something like that, definitely you need to create your own art. I'm never saying you have to just create it for other people. But if you're in a trade show and people aren't into your art, they're not going to buy it.
No.
It has to connect to them.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, you have to build a following.
And the big problem with the Comic-Cons is
it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Everybody wants fan art. And fan art's cool. And I have drawn it, and I do draw it. Yep. But I don't draw it as much. I don't use it as a way. A lot of artists draw fan art to get people to look at their work and follow them on Instagram. It's like a clickbait type thing. Yeah. And I don't like doing fan art enough to do that. Like at some point it feels
well, it's not true to what you like to draw.
For me, anyway.
Right.
You know.
But if that's going to be a career path that you want to go down, you kind of almost have to, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to follow the trends to get people to want to buy your stuff.
So
and that's just not a career path that I can see you going down, because it's not something that you enjoy drawing. So, unfortunately, the stuff...
Or at least not as regularly as a lot of the artists do. Every day they're posting something or whatever happens in the news, and they'll draw like Harley Quinn from Batman as a representation of some celebrity in a situation.
See, your art is purely yours, and it's not... it's purely yours. What comes out of your head in the moment... Something either that you feel or something that you've got a story created in your head and you want to put it down on paper or computer or whatever. And it's not necessarily on trend. You know what I mean? And when you're selling your stuff, a lot of people are looking at what's on trend.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And that's just where the two don't jive sometimes. But
I think
that's not a bad thing. It's just not where you're going to make all your money. That's all.
Well, it speaks to that the whole thing of artists sitting down and doing what they love versus something they feel they have to do.
Right, and sometimes you do have to do
that. So
but
a lot of times when I'm drawing fan art,
I
do it when it's something I love. Mm-hmm. If I'm doing it because
you have to connect to it too, right?
Yeah, if I'm doing it because I feel like I have to get eyes on my work, I don't even want to finish the drawing. Right. It feels like pulling teeth.
Which is why for you, that avenue of bringing in revenue doesn't work long term for you or for us as a family.
No. I mean, it might in the future, but it's...
Yeah, but it's not something that you're going to want to stick to. Because you're not going to want to draw the things that you're not interested in.
No, if I can get a following and people become interested in the weird drawings that just come out of my head.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Then I'm starting to get prints again, and off I go.
Right.
You know.
But if you have to get into the stuff that you don't like drawing, you can see it in your drawings at the same time. Yeah. If you're not connected into it, sometimes you can see that reflected in your drawings. It's just a drawing. Yeah. Whereas something that you're really into is amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
I tell my students that too, and I show them. They'll produce a concept sketch for anybody that might be watching. I'm currently teaching 3D animation at a college, Eastern College in St. John, and when my students give me something that they felt was like pulling teeth, it reflects right away.
Yeah, for sure.
Without even going deep into the file to see, it reflects right away. Yeah. When they're passionate about something, it leaps off
that
the
goes
screen.
To everyone's job. I know just in my own job, if it's a job I hate doing, you could see it. You don't put in as much effort.
With regular jobs, and creative jobs, we're seeing there's a lot of parallels. When you're into it, you're going to perform better.
Right.
When
Yeah,
you're
for
not
sure.
into it, you're gonna
You're just doing it to get it through.
exactly.
Get it
You're
done.
that worker at the retail store just putting hours in to get a paycheck.
Yep.